Decades of motorsport know-how have shaped every Porsche 911. Exploiting the talents on track isn't just about top speed. It's about precision and poise and performance, which is what this latest GT3 has in abundance. Welcome to the Driver Reviews channel. I'm Vicki Butler-Henderson, and today we are testing something that is the byword for perfection. It is the Porsche 911 GT3, and to help dissect all of its delights is 3 times British Touring Car champion Gordon Shedden.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
Pleasure to have you on board. Now, a great testament to a great car is the fact that a load of motoring journalists and racing drivers have a GT3 in their stable. I have got a 997 version. Have you had one through your hands?
Obviously.
Yay.
It's the racing driver's sports car of choice.
The headlines for this car are: it's naturally aspirated. It can come with or without a manual gearbox, with or without a rear wing, and it is strictly rear-wheel drive. Now, if you are watching now and you still haven't subscribed, then please do so now. Hit that button, because the more subscribers we get, the more we are able to bring you snazzy machines like this.
This thing is lightning fast! What a car! What a car! Oh, what a car!
And that is what little hatches should be. May I draw your attention first of all to the ignition switch, because it's not a red starter button, but it is an actual physical switch. What do you think about that?
I'm so happy that they've maintained that. I think there's a lot of debate about that from the 0.1 to the 0.2 version, but it's that hark back to what always was a key to start your Porsche. And I think, especially when they've gone to the digital dashboard, I think it's so important to keep that purest nod back to history. Yeah.
I would like to know what you think about a starter button versus a starter switch. Let us know in the comments section. So, Flash, my old mucker, what are your experiences of GT cars and GT3s in particular?
I think for Porsche and GT3, it's always been the benchmark supercar for as long as I can remember. And whether that's going back to probably my first experience in a GT3 was 996 GT3, which were iconic with that kind of white and red wheels, or white and kind of powder blue wheels, and that was kind of what got my interest in GT3 and GT3 RS products going. But every time that Porsche make a GT3, you know it's got to hit the standards of Weissach, and it's not going to be a disappointment.
No, totally. Because of course, sort of going back to the heritage, the 996 was the first one, so that came out in 1999, and it sort of was like the spiritual successor to the iconic RS, the 2.7 RS, that machine from the 70s, which was also the first 911 to have a rear spoiler, that beautiful ducktail spoiler on it. And I just love the fact that the DNA from that car still comes through today.
And I think that's one of the great things about Porsche, isn't it? If you take a car from the 60s and you take a car from the modern day, from today, and line them up all next to each other, you know exactly what it is. That outline of the car is so iconic, and I don't think there's any other manufacturer that holds that kind of that design concept as true as Porsche does.
Yep. I think if you were to draw a sports car, you would start with a low nose and a big wing at the back, and that's what you've got here.
Exactly.
So the GT3 is a reference to the GT3 endurance racing class. Have you raced a GT3, in particular a 911 GT3?
I have, but only once. So I raced a 996 GT3 as part of the Porsche Carrera Cup GB. They had a kind of a VIP car, if you will, from Autosport magazine. I think back in 2005. But you know, that 996 as it was at the time, it had the manual gearbox. So a very pure GT3, certainly for a race car.
God, you had a manual in a race
manual
car?
Box, yeah.
Gee, that is hard work.
It was. The sequential didn't come until 997 in Carrera Cup format. So, it was a little bit of a shock to the system for me. You know, having come in from front-wheel drive, you know, touring car-esque kind of product until then. So, but I had a great time.
I've raced one as well, and I mean, it was unbelievably competitive. What a, you know, it was touring car standards, but in a GT Cup, because I think 2 seconds or something split the whole grid.
And I think because the cars come factory built from Porsche, they were absolutely identical. So the tweaks that they allowed, you know, teams to make were very, very controlled in order to keep the competitiveness of the racing, and that's come all the way through. And we still see Porsche Super Cup on the Formula One support grid every weekend, providing some of the closest racing. And you know, do you ever see a site as happy as kind of 30? Carrera Cup supercars on the grid, ready to go and do battle.
Yeah, and the noise, oh, mega. One of the big things with Porsches, the power to weight ratio side of things. This car has got 510 horsepower. In a world of electric machines that have got 1,000 horsepower, this is like a tiny little kindergarten machine, but it can weigh just over sort of 1,400 kilograms, 1,500 kilograms. So the power to weight ratio of this car is what makes it so special.
The engine itself is just so much part of the heart of a 911. You know, to have the flat six engine that revs all the way to 9,000 RPM, and 500 horsepower is plenty for 99% of the time. You know, for any kind of road use, 1,000 horsepower, it's just it's a figure which is there on paper, but the reality is you're never going to use that. I think as a driver's car on A roads, on B roads, on the mountain passes, 500 horsepower allows you to drive the car and not hang on to the car. And I think that's a really, really important thing.
That's absolutely bang on. As always with Porsche, or any manufacturer to be honest with you, you have got a pretty decent options list. I say decent in the financial terms here. So this one has got the Weissach Package, which is a weight reducing but wallet heavy £20,000, but it does come with carbon bits and magnesium wheels and the roll cage. Would you be ticking that box?
I think in GT3, in this winged version, I think the Weissach Package is a must. I think you'd have to tick that box. Do you need it in the touring? Probably not. They have the Leichtbau package in the touring version, which is a slightly different package, but takes about 20 kilos off the actual weight of the car. But I think if you're going to have a GT3 and you're going to have a big wing on the back, you got to start ticking boxes for maximum performance.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that point. Weissach is Porsche's facility near Stuttgart in Germany, where development and motorsport magic is created. Now, if you go for the 911 without a wing, the touring package, then you can have even rear seats fitted. I love being able to sit low in a car. Probably not as low as you do in your touring car. Can you see the bonnet in your racer?
Absolutely not. Probably only look out about the bottom 6 inches of the windscreen.
Yeah.
It's so low to get that centre of gravity down.
Yeah. Well, that's usually me in a car, and here you are just so enveloped in the whole car. But you can electrically adjust the height of this seat, so all sizes can be accommodated.
Yeah. Porsche persevered with the 918 bucket seat for many, many years, which I think was one of the very best bucket seats available.
Yeah.
So anything that they were going to change was going to have to be good. And now this new seat is just as comfortable. It's got that little bit of, as you say, electronic ability to move it up and down. It's folding as well.
I know. It just seems so wrong.
It's great, and especially when you spec that in a touring to get into the back seats. I think that is just a work of genius.
Yeah.
The only thing that's mildly annoying is that you can't just adjust the angle of the back on this seat, and I don't understand why they've done that.
Yeah, there's no sort of little, dial that you can just gently go backwards a bit, because I would probably be about half a centimetre more reclined, but I can't do that.
Exactly. So you've got your distance to to the pedals and the steering wheel, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I just wish at some stage somebody had said, we'll just have that back.
But maybe in the 992.3 or 2.2.
I'm sure, knowing the Germans, that it's been brought up at some stage, and there'll be a plan being hatched already for that for the future.
Of course, this car is, a road car for the racing track, really, isn't it? Yeah. And I can confirm, having driven many miles on England's potholed awfulness, that the ride is definitely on the firm side.
Yeah, I think you got to concede it. But it is a GT car.
Exactly.
So if you don't want that, go and buy a GTS, go and buy a Carrera 4, which are that little bit softer, that bit more compliant.
Yeah.
But you hit the nail on the head. This is a road car for the racetrack.
Yeah.
Or a race car for the road. Whichever way you want to say it, it is built with performance in mind. That's the underlying factor. And I guess it's what makes the car so exciting and so alive.
Yeah. And if you want to see our review of the GTS, click on the link. But back to the GT3, so much weight has been taken out of it that you can hear more road noise than you would in a normal car. But I like that, because that gives me another connection to what's going on outside. How are you with road noise in a GT3?
See, I think it's part of the experience. I think we've touched on the engine, and I think you want to have that emotion in a car, so you want to feel part of it. There's road noise in the tyres, it's a massive rear section tyre on this.
Yeah.
305 21-inch tyre, so it's a big tyre that's connected to the road. It's got to make some noise. I quite like the gearbox noise that comes through it as well. There's almost like a kind of bird cog in the gear at slow speed, and you really feel like it's a racing gearbox that they've just managed to make into a road going box.
They've just given it enough manners for you to be able to use it on the road, but just enough.
Yeah,
great point. The original 996 GT3 was a 3.6 litre with 360 horsepower. This is a 4 litre with 510 horsepower, but it revs, as you said, to 9,000 RPM, and torque is at a really high 6,100 RPM at peak. And those big numbers make you know that this car and the engine wants to be worked. It needs to be worked. Have you got any performance figures for me?
Definitely needs to be driven, but it's not to 60 in 3.4 seconds, just shy of 200 miles an hour, which is plenty in anyone's books. Having said that, it does fall short on the performance figures on paper compared to a competitor in the Ferrari 296 GTB. But is it all about what's on paper, or is it about how it drives?
You don't drive a piece of paper, do you?
Correct.
In that dash to 0 to 62, the manual gearbox is a little bit slower. It takes 3.9 seconds, so I suppose you have to factor in error on that one. But this car, to my utter sadness, hasn't got that lovely 6-speed manual gearbox, and that box is the same as the 911 ST, which is a fantastic machine, another fantastic machine. This is the 7-speed PDK, Porsche.
Doppelkopplung. we'll go with.
We'll go with that.
So I've said it. Can you spell it? Or are you just sticking with
DOPPEL.
We'll have a K.
Double K
Give me an O.
U P P L U N G. I might have got it.
I think that's close enough.
If we can spell that out in the edit, we'll see how close I got.
That's going to be your new. That's going to be your new Wi-Fi password, that, isn't it?
No, because it would take me forever to get there. Where do you sit with gearboxes? I honestly, truly believe that this car should be the manual, okay? I've got that wing, I've got the Weissach package, I need to feel every little nuance from a clutch through the gears. Where are you?
I think the manual box is really, really good. It's got some really cool features on the manual box as well. So it actually has a flat shift, so you don't even have to lift off the throttle to change gear in the manual. But that requires a bit of skill and a bit of finesse. It's got it does have the auto blip on the downshift. So I get that. I understand that the manual is the purest box. But this Porsche PDK gearbox, it's so fast, it's so precise, it does everything you could want it to do. And there's a bit of me thinks, you know what, life's moving on. So the PDK is the way forward.
I think the PDK is going to be brilliant if you track day your car.
Yeah.
If you buy a GT3 and you're never going to track day it, I would go for the manual, because pootling around town, I just think at really low speeds, the nuances that you can get to be smooth, you can just get that finer detail through the clutch and through the manual gearbox. Would you agree, or do you think I'm talking rubbish?
I think you're right, but I think the long and short of it is you're going to pick one of the two of them, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed whichever way you go.
Yeah, that's brilliant, yeah. Because this box it does everything without you even knowing and thinking about it. You do not even have to go on the flappy paddles. It just does, it's magic.
It's just the benchmark for a double clutch paddle gearbox, really.
PDK.
That'll be the one.
When it comes to braking, these have got a whopping great big set on them. So these have got carbon ceramics on, and I'm just going to give you a little, we'll go braking from 70, quite firm. The pedal feel is so tight and so short and so reassuring. They cost £10,000. Are they worth it?
It's a big tick on the options list, isn't it? And again, carbon ceramic brakes are so good because they operate at a really high temperature, give you great brake feel when they're up to temperature. So for track use or spirited driving, I think they really are a must. And the other great thing I think about a ceramic brakes is you don't get the brake dust that you would get on a normal brake. So it keeps your wheels nice and clean if you're that way inclined. Having said that, the steel wheel package that comes as standard is more than sufficient for, again, 90% of what you would ever do with this car.
But if you were going to track it once or twice, would you take the ceramic brakes?
I think the ceramics definitely give you that extra bit of feel. I think the steels would allow you to change the pad compound and maybe add some of the Manti special bits to, again, give you a kind of more racy feel, but even on those steel brakes. It's £10,000. Is it worth it? Again, I think if you've got the wing on the car for the GT3, in for a penny, in for a pound. I think you've got to do it.
I totally agree.
But on a touring, I probably wouldn't spec it.
Yeah. For both of us, driving a 911 is so much more about going fast in a straight line and stopping in a straight line. It is about this car's handling. So should we just notch it up a bit?
I think we have a racetrack and we have a 911 GT3.
Exactly.
It would be rude not to.
Could I kindly ask you to press some ESC buttons?
Some gadgets and gizmos.
Gadgets and gizmos.
Right. So I think we need to get rid of
ESC.
Some ESC,
Yeah.
ESC off,
TC
and a bit of TC off as well.
What's the difference between traction control and electronic stability control?
So traction control just limits the amount of slip that the rear wheels would have purely in a straight line. The stability control essentially controls the amount of slip angle that the car would have when you begin to go sideways. So it's the car trying to second guess how much in control you still are when the car isn't pointing in a straight line.
It's your belt and your braces.
Exactly. It's your get out of jail free card at the end.
Exactly. Fruity.
You can feel how much the nose just tucks in to the corner.
So this car, it's got like a bespoke suspension, and it's borrowed some magic know-how from the RS to help it stop, pitching and helping to tuck that nose in. And it's 20 mil lower as well than a standard car, so you're hugging the road more.
Yeah, and it's also changed quite subtly, but I think quite a lot from the 992.1. They've definitely changed the bump stops, they've changed the anti-dive in the front of the car as well, just to refine it, and I really think it's made a big difference. There's a lot more control over the front end in the 992.2.
But does that mean, though, if you bought the 992.1 that you bought a dud car?
Absolutely not. But we're talking really kind of small changes. I think the ST was built, I guess, with this theory of being the ultimate 911.
Yeah.
And for sure, in point 2, they've taken some of their learnings from ST and added that into the point 2 version.
Yeah. So this also, you've got the PASM, Porsche Active Suspension Management. So we've got a few modes. Can you talk them through it while I keep my eyes on the track?
So we've got normal mode, we've got sport mode, and we've got track mode.
Yeah.
And actually, although you're keeping your eyes on the road, the dial on the steering wheel will just allow you to change that. So if you drop your right hand, turn 1 notch to the right, and all of a sudden you're on the move.
This has got so much traction.
It's kind of unbelievable, isn't it? For a car that is rear-engined, how Porsche have managed to now control the feel of the rear of the car. Because that engine does sit way off the back axle still. But
So I'm going around those corners, and in other rear-wheel drive cars, the back would be sliding around, but here it's absolutely hunkered down.
yeah, it squats down. Again, it's the width of those rear tyres gives you so much confidence on corner entry. But its performance is when you can just get on the loud pedal and it translates that power onto the ground in terms of grip.
Yeah. Should we put it on track?
Yeah.
Let's put it on track mode, chassis track. I'm quite fussy when it comes to steering. I don't know about you. Are you quite picky?
In terms of from seating position to the size of the steering wheel to the thickness of the steering wheel, because that is the driver's interaction with the car and with the road below. So yeah, it's absolutely top of my list for thinking it's got to feel right.
Yeah. Well, may I let you know that this has got one of the best steering feel that you can buy. Thin rimmed and just so connected. It's a phenomenal bit of kit. I wish all manufacturers could have steering like this, because I always complain about, a thick rim, this, that, the other, and dead weight. But here it's like my hands are on those front tyres.
Yeah, you're feeling what the car's doing, the interaction with the dashboard, because in track mode we've got the rev counter in the middle. It's just everything in the right place to drive and to enjoy that experience.
Would you like to experience it now?
I think before you run this thing out of fuel, I would have a couple of cheeky laps.
Okay. Well, whilst we swap over, I think it will give us a good time just to appreciate the beauty and that rear wing of this particular GT3. First of all, we haven't talked about the price yet. This starts at £158,200. That's 20 grand more than the current Carrera GTS, which sits just below it in the pecking order. This car, with options, costs a total of £218,000. £8,650. The silhouette of the first GT3 is still very visible here, and each incarnation has an ever sharper design with tweaked aerodynamics to make it slice through the air as smoothly as possible. Notable features here are the redesigned matrix LED lights, which intelligently react to oncoming headlights. These are optional tinted HD as well, with a white accent ring. All lights are brilliantly integrated into that main lamp area, which leaves more space for cooling underneath. Then you've got lightweight and noise insulated glass. There are carbon fibre door handles and a roof, and the tops of the mirror and other bits and bobs. Open the door and you get a Born in Flacht logo LED courtesy light. And Flacht, by the way, is where Porsche's Motorsport Centre is, near Weissach. At the rear, there's the diffuser, the air inlets, and that boot lid has been redesigned with new angled end plates on that amazing wing. You've also got lightweight stainless steel sports exhaust system with 2 central tailpipes in black. We've been a bit too busy enjoying the car's dynamics to notice much about the interior. So may I tell you that this car has a Bose surround sound, the guard red belts, a leather and race tech upholstery interior with guards red stitching. And this is the first time in a GT3 that the upper surface of the dash is trimmed in anti-glare race tech material. Simple storage nets, and because this car has the wing, it also has that roll cage in the rear. And what about luggage? Well, who needs luggage when you've got this to drive? If you do need it though, there are 135 litres in the front and 373 litres behind the seats. The GT3 has a great engine, chassis and aerodynamic package, but none of it can work properly without the right tyres. These are Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tyres. They are 20 inches at the front and 21 at the rear. The N1 marking on the sidewall shows the tyre has been approved by Porsche, meeting the high performance and safety standards required for this 911. For this latest version, Porsche wanted better wet performance, so Michelin adjusted the compound to improve grip in the rain without losing that sharp feeling on a dry track. Michelin has supplied GT3 tyres since the first 996 generation, so it's a partnership that goes back decades. They are road legal, but very much track focused, and drivers have given them a rating of 4.6 out of 5 stars on DriverReviews. Whatever car you drive, the only thing connecting you to the road or the track are the tiny contact patches on your tyres, so it is crucial to find the right set. But searching for them can be stressful and confusing. If you need help choosing new tyres for your car, then go to DriverReviews.com, where you will see thousands of reviews of all the top brands written by drivers just like you. Also, check out the winners of our latest Customer Choice Awards. Back to driving now, and because Gordon has driven more laps of more tracks than most people, he is now going to give you some tips on wanting to take your GT3 or any car on a track day.
So driving on track, what have we got to do? Well, first things first, you've got to get yourself comfortable. Make sure you're sat just that little bit further forward towards the steering wheel than you would normally be in your road car. And it's going to give you that little bit more control, being that little bit further forward towards the steering wheel. Getting yourself sat, comfortable, aware of all your surroundings, and really just winding yourself into driving the car on track. The tyres are going to be stone cold to start with, so take it a bit easy to generate that bit of tyre temperature after the first 2 or 3 laps. Have a look at your surroundings, anything that's going to help you or anything that's going to hinder you. In terms of driving, lots of techniques to really help you on track. First things first, try and keep your hands on the steering wheel. Don't move your hands from one position on the wheel and just manage to cross your hands all the way over from lock to lock. It makes it so much more controllable. All the braking needs to be done in a straight line, so slow the car down using the big ceramic brakes in this, crossing the hands into an apex, and then you can unwind and out towards that exit point. Try and lift your vision as much as you can. Look through the corner and all the way out towards the exit. Everything starts happening pretty quick on track because the amount of road that you can use is so much wider than you get out there on the main road. So sometimes that perception of your speed relative to how quick the corner is going to arrive can be quite different. So don't let it catch you out. Make sure you get the car slowed up. Make sure you can get the car in towards the apex, nice and balanced, nice and controlled, and then you can use it on the corner exit. But what an amazing car to drive. The noise that comes from this flat six engine is incredible. We can get loads of power as we get the thing stopped, turned, look through, and again back on the gas and let it rev all the way to 9,000. We can steady it up, get it turned, and again on we go, pushing through and accelerating all the way through, braking that traction, full commitment, hard on the brakes. We need the ceramics, get it stopped and turned, all the road and a bit more. And this car just comes to life. It's asking for more performance all the time. If you're prepared to get on the throttle pedal, it's prepared to give you grip and control. Loads of fun, loads of fun. Now driving on track, you can tell by now we've definitely got some tyre temperature. And one cool thing to look for is to always try and control the pressures. The tyre pressures are going to rise when you drive enthusiastically on track. And it's not the worst idea to get yourself a little tyre pressure gauge, just to bleed those pressures back down a little bit. Find what you think is going to be your optimum, maybe around about 2.2 bar, and as soon as you come in after a session, jump out the car and just bleed those pressures down to 2.2 on your optimum. At the end of the day, it's only the 4 tyres that are on the road that are linking the car to the surface, so it's important to have them in the best operating window. Now this car comes with a variety of tyres on the options list from Porsche. This particular car is on the fantastic Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2. It's very much a race-derived tyre. The grip in these dry conditions is just phenomenal. But smile when you drive this GT3 Porsche. 500 horsepower. Wow, big drift, smoke in the rear tyres. It's everything you want from a car on track. It's still refined, still got everything that you can use it on a daily basis. It's pretty extreme in the GT3 version with the wing, but everybody knows when you see it on the road exactly what it is. Big slides, and off we go again. These bucket seats just absolutely hold you perfectly. little bit bouncy through there. For anybody that says that you need 700 or 800 horsepower, I challenge you just to drive the GT3. Because this is driving at its absolute purest.
Amazing.
What an ultimate sports car, supercar to drive. And you know, I genuinely believe this could be the last of the purest Porsches, because for sure the next GT3 and the GT3 RS will be turbocharged or hybrid. This engine is so special.
I totally agree with you, and I'm so grateful that it's naturally aspirated. When rivals, which are more powerful, more expensive, the McLaren 750S and Ferrari 296 GTB, they are already turbocharged or with hybrid. So I totally agree with you on that one. This car, can you use it every day? I think you can, though it is at the extreme end of the comfort spectrum, shall we say. But this car needs another chat, Gordon. How about you and I take it back up north to your home of Knockhill?
I would drive it every day until it ran out of fuel, for sure.
Right, warm her up. Thank you so much for watching Driver Reviews today. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section about the GT3, and please press like and subscribe. If you haven't done so already, do it now so that you are notified each time we post something new.